What's good, everybody? Come on in the building. It's time for this Grace and Grit conversation. It's your girl, your host, your grief coach, Kenitra Moselle. I'm so excited about this episode. Y'all, this thing is so real, and it's been real even before we fully got into everything, right? I'm so excited about this episode. Our guest today is amazing, y'all. She a whole part of the squad. Y'all know I wouldn't bring them to the table if they weren't fans, right? So my sister is in the building today, and I'm super excited for this conversation. You know, it's Grace and Grit. So this is the Kingdom YouTube Advocate, Kingdom YouTube. This is the Kingdom Advocate YouTube channel. And I promise you that you do want to follow the instructions below you. Go ahead and subscribe to this page. And if you're one of the people who are waiting on this episode, go ahead and like the video, right? Go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel, because this is one of three. Hear what I'm saying? This is one. There's 3 more coming. You don't want to miss the next episode. Why? Because we're talking about the going through grief journey. We're talking about the grace of it, and we're talking the grit of it. Okay, so the Wellness Work Summit is on March the 30th, and we're excited to see y'all in the building. So look, let's get into it. I'm gonna introduce myself. As if y'all don't know who I am, but I might have some new people here. So we're gonna give the vibe in the background. I'm giving vibe. The vibe is in the background, and it can stay for a little bit. I'm gonna let it phase out, right? But what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Kenitra Moselle. I am the founder of a community called Grace for This. Hey, it's for women, but it's really, really, especially for women of faith who are taking ownership of their wellness journey. And we focus on it personally, relationally, and professionally, right? But in this journey of going through grief, right, I wrote a book called Grace for This Devotional. It's a 21-day journey for women going through grief. I realized that my brothers were tapping in on the conversation. So what do? Make room. You know I'm going to make room for my brothers. That's on period. That's on poo, right? So Grace and Grit has been birthed because the wellness work conversation needs to happen with the ladies as well as the man. If the sisters are doing the work, but the men not doing it, it's not balanced. If you got a man doing the wellness work, but sis not doing the wellness work, what are we doing exactly, right? So we're on a mission, right? We do the Wellness Work Summit, right? And word on the street is it's looking like it's going to be a quarterly thing. I don't know. We working on it, but I'm going to tell you this much. The conversations that we've been having on this YouTube channel, the conversations that we have when we get in the room together, and even the conversation that we had March of 2023 in the room was amazing and phenomenal. So I'm super duper excited about what is going to happen in this space today, right? So I got a special guest, and I want to tell you about this young lady, right? She is a native Houstonian. Okay, did I say it right? Yeah, she is. And she is the CEO of Forever Young Travel with Kayla. And these three things that she has, I love this. Why? She's about exposure, expansion, and experience. I love that. Exposure, expansion, and experience. Why is that important? Because sometimes we basic. Sometimes we are out here and we are completely and entirely basic with how we are moving through our life, through our different situations. We're not stretching ourselves, right? So I want to bring to the stage our very own sis, Miss Kayla Young of Forever Young Travels. Y'all clap it up for her while I bring her to the stage. My sis right there. Oh. Look, and I'm going to do something real quick, y'all. I'm gonna do something real quick, right? So Kayla went through the Growing Through Grief Challenge. Not only did she finish, y'all, I made Kayla the valedictorian. Okay. I sent Kayla some stuff in the mail from Grace for This, because not only did she show up, she showed out. She was present, she was accounted for. So I want y'all to know, this GTG thing and this GFT squad, this is a real situation, because we take it seriously. What's good, my sis? How are you doing?
What's happening? Hey. My God, I am loving this.
Thank you for choosing to come on to share Look, they don't know, but they're gonna learn if they don't know. We are very intentional about creating safe places, and we are intentional about having these conversations. So I'm so glad that you were interested and jumped on the bandwagon and had a conversation. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. First of all, Miss Kenitra, I want to thank you for creating the safe space to be able to go through the grief journey. I've been, I'm going to just say this to the audience. Y'all, I've been trying to walk that thing out for about a year and a half. But Kenitra actually had made it possible for me to be able to do it in the community. And we have connected like two flat tires. Like we are like, can't nobody take us apart because we are connected. That divine connection is awesome. The community that she has created with the Grace for This community, the Growing Through Grief community, is bar none, hands down, amazing. And I just want to give you your flowers right now on this live that we're doing, because baby girl, nobody has ever been able to get me to tackle this thing called grief the way you have with your 21-day journal, and it was amazing. So thank you for that, and thank you for having me to be a part of your Grace to Grit. I'm loving it. So
Yes, thank you so much. That I'm so glad we got that on video. Look, that means so much to me. And honestly, I will say that something that I've learned about myself as I have grown and matured is that I feel well and I feel healthy and appreciated as a person when people give me words of affirmation. That is one of we call them the love languages. So I appreciate when people can express to me in words, and like, y'all know I'm a little wordy, right? So when people can give me words to express appreciation, that is love. And that means so much to me. Yes, that means so much to me, and I enjoy working with you, y'all. We are also we co-host a space inside of Clubhouse, and we're gonna look. We got something coming for y'all. We got a whole lot of drops coming. Okay,
look,
right?
this is not the first. This will not be the last that you see this team right here together. We just letting you know.
Yeah, big things are popping, right? So even if I'll tell y'all this, so even if from this piece of the conversation that we've already gotten in today, if you're interested for more of this, go to graceforthis.net. You can go and RSVP right now for the summit. You're not even in Georgia. Boo, that's fine, because it will be streamed and you will get the link when the stream is up and ready. Okay. So if you're already connected with what's going on in this space, I want to invite you to check in, do the RSVP, drop RSVP in the comments, and let us know that you are one of those people that's like, look, I'm not about to miss it. I believe these folks, they already sound like they about to get into it, and I'm not trying to miss the next episode or the summit. Okay. Right. So we have some questions that we wanted to walk through, guys, because like Kayla just said, she went through the 21-day journey. We did a 21-day journey that took ownership of our grief and grew through the grief. That takes grit, right? I don't think people realize. And so, I really wanted to invite Kayla to this conversation because she can speak to the grit of it. I'm gonna let you, I ain't gonna help. Right. So the question is, do women experience grit and grief? Kayla, what would you say to that? Just that, the way I made that heading alone, what would you say to that?
I would say definitely women do experience grit through grief, for the simple fact, for us as women, we put on the mask, we wear the capes, so we don't want to show people what we're truly going through, because we were meant to be nurturers. So when you're going through, you're like, oh, I'm gonna push that down, I'm gonna push that to the side, I'm gonna persevere, I'm just gonna push through. You get real gritty with that, because what happens is now you're sweeping stuff up under the rug. You're ignoring things. You're not taking care of yourself. And that's why I said I thank you for this 21-day grief journey that you did, because it made me sit still. it made me have to actually hone in on the root cause of why I was acting the way I was acting, why I was feeling the way I was feeling. And I had to pinpoint it down to, oh, that was that 12-year-old girl that was lied to her whole life. Then from that lie, then now I have daddy issues. Now I have trust issues. Now I have abandonment issues. Now I feel, okay, I'm unworthy. I had to dig deep into this thing, baby. Yeah. And I believe I would text Kenitra. I'm like, girl, you got me over here ugly crying, because that's what happens when you sit with it and go through the journey and you actually write it out.
Yeah. I want to jump in right there on the ugly cry. I want to jump in on the ugly cry, because we crack jokes all the time about the ugly cry, right? But when you begin to sit and process, I feel it. When you start to process what you're going through, when you process what you carry and for how long you've been carrying it, you giving yourself permission is necessary. And it looks like an ugly cry. The ugly cry is actually an appropriate response for what you've been going through and carrying for 30, 40, and 50 years. When you identify that your grief connects back to the 12-year-old little girl, and we'll talk a little bit more about what you identified in your grief journey. But when you all connect back to the point, when you come back to the origin of it.
Yes.
When you get back to the origin of what even induced your grief journey in the first place, I invite you to have an ugly cry. Why? Who gonna laugh? Somebody who's still in avoidance. The people who can't empathize with you are the ones who are probably actually running from theirs.
Amen.
If you ever have a problem with them and they come at you sideways, I'm the one to call. I'm Grace for that too, right? So Kayla, like, what can you talk a little bit about what grief you identified? Because we tried to be as targeted as we could as we went through the 21-day journey. So what grief did you identify, or which one you want to pinpoint? Because there's more.
Look, it was several, but the main one for me was I was in denial. And what I realized in being in denial, that set me up how I even parent or showed up for my kids. So going through this journey and then actually speaking to my daughter, my adult daughters about it, man, I'm getting emotional. It really let me see, some of this stuff was unhealthy. This was unhealthy. So now I'm having to not only forgive myself, because I was doing what I could just to get by, because I was in denial, because I had those abandonment issues. I had those rejection issues. So I had to really start telling myself, you did. And I thank my kids most definitely, because my daughter's like, Mama, you did the best you knew how. We don't hold you accountable. You did the best that you knew how to do. And we realized you had issues that you had never dealt with. But we're happy that you're getting the help and the healing process now. Woo, I didn't know this was gonna make me cry.
That's it right there. Like you hit it on the head. Like, we cannot avoid the part of Kayla's story where she addresses that her taking ownership of her wellness work and growing through grief led to some conversations with her children. That's legacy work. What am I saying here? When you do the wellness work, it impacts your legacy work. When you identify that you did some things in your parenting journey that were not the best, and you take ownership of it to your children, that's a real boss move. That There's so many people out here talking about they all of these things and you big and is that. Let me see you go apologize to your children for what you didn't do well and do it accurately and take ownership of it. What? No, that's who is a real one. And I'm talking about from a healthy, healed, whole place. Oh my gosh. Like, Kayla, it doesn't even sound like you were talking down on yourself or big. It wasn't like negative self-talk that came out in front of your kids. It was, I apologize. I realized that I did this when I was, parenting y'all, and it came from here. I apologize.
Yep.
You empowered your children to apologize to their children for the mistakes that they would make. Like, yo, that's humongous. Exactly. That's big, Kayla. That's big. Yeah, and we got permission to cry here. We do this. I don't have a bit of tissue, but it's all right.
Oh, I got my tissue right here in hand.
Look, stay ready. Stay ready. So that's beautiful, and I see that as part of the grit in your story, because some folks would loathe apologizing to their offspring. or feel, or by default making your children less than you because they're younger than you.
To be quite honest with you, Kenitra, you're the same age as my oldest daughter. So and this is a conversation I have with my kids. Your age does not make you mature. Yes, your age does not make you mature, because you have a lot of people that's up in age that are not mature. They do not know how to have the conversations. They do not know how to dig deep and do the apology and look inward. It's always somebody else's fault. And what I've learned with raising my girls, you always got to look inward, especially if it's always you and someone else or something else that's having an issue. Okay, what's the common denominator?
Yeah, that's good.
So you need to start looking inward and do some self-reflecting. And like I think I said earlier, get to the root cause. Why are you feeling that way? Why are you thinking that way? Why are you behaving that way? What's causing that? And that's what your 21-day grief journey has really helped me hone into even more, because I'm starting to listen to my body.
Yes, God.
So if I'm having a reaction, right? If I'm having a reaction, I'm like, "Ooh, girl, what's going on? What you still need some healing from? What we need to dig into? What wellness work we need to do? Because why are you reacting in such a way to something that was not even worth you even reacting that way? I'm starting to recognize a lot sooner, and then making the pivot. And I'm gonna give you an example. Just not even 5 days ago, young lady approached me at work, and my response to her was not all that nice. But then it clicked, and I'm like, "Ooh, that wasn't about you, sweetheart. I am so sorry." And I went and apologized. I said, that had nothing to do with you. You just threw me off because you just came into my personal space and shocked me because I had my back turned, and and I'm the type of person, when you come into my personal space unannounced and I'm unaware, I'm gonna react first, and then so I had to explain to her. She said, "Oh, no, I understand, Miss Kayla." I said, "Oh, okay. I just want to let you know," because I was like, "Ooh," but in the past I would just keep it moving. But now I'm like, no, because I don't know how that would have affected that young lady.
Boom. That's good.
Had I not went to her and let her know. So I'm learning to communicate.
Come on, communicate. Oh my gosh. Like, I love that. because what you just explained in that story was essentially because you're being well, you're learning how to do your wellness work. You actually passed it forward to somebody else. You pass that on to that young lady. And when we begin to consider our reactions and how we move in spaces and how that impacts other people, we won't hesitate to go back and correct it and say, I apologize. That was the result of so and so. It's really an opportunity to give people information, because the reality is that some people do not know that how they're moving in a space can negatively impact someone else. But when we take ownership of our wellness journey and begin to use the language that we're learning as we grow through grief, then we actually are empowering the next person to treat somebody else better. So in the future, maybe she won't walk up on somebody with their back turned. Maybe she'll tap before she enters in. Excuse me, hey, I don't want to interrupt you. Like, it's a simple solution to these things. If we would, if we would just acknowledge and say certain things that acknowledge that give a, I don't want to use the word acknowledge again, but it says that you're aware. It says, I'm aware that this is personal space, this is intimate space, and I don't want to interject myself into this space in a way that would throw off your homeostasis or your equilibrium. Okay, right? So
Right.
that was a great example, from the kids to the language to the coworker, that you didn't want to walk around with a negative impact on her. You probably made her day better. She might have been thinking, I don't know why she did it. Well, what did I do wrong? Because we had these internal narratives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I did not want, and see, that's my thing now too. I don't want to make anybody feel, you know what I'm saying, those negative things, because we have a way of, like you say, words, language, body language, the whole nine. You have to be mindful. And the thing my dad used to tell us growing up as kids, it don't cost nothing to give somebody a smile and a hello, because you never know the hell somebody has gone through just to get to wherever they are when you reach them. So why would you cause somebody to have any other type of harm or hardship by being ugly? It don't cost nothing to give somebody a smile and a hello.
That's good.
Period.
Good.
Pooh, as you say.
That's good. I want to jump back because we just got into the flow, but I want to jump back a little bit and give you an opportunity to share, with your level of comfort, what was something that took a whole lot of grit for you to begin to walk and grow through in your journey. And you said that there were things that rolled over into your children and how you parented your children. I believe we got some parents, we got some mamas and some daddies out here who are listening and watching. I would love for you to share, what that grief was you identified, and then how it rolled over into your parenting, and you realized how it could have impacted your children.
Okay, good, good. Or for me, what I realized by going through the grief journey was, because of the mommy issues, the trust issues, the daddy issues, the abandonment, I realized that made me become more like a people pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was a people pleaser, I took a lot of things that maybe I shouldn't have taken, especially in my parent that my kids saw growing up. It's even with family, because I'm big on family. I'm big on service. I'm big on just being there and showing up and doing whatever I need to do to make sure things run smooth. That's always been me. I'll be the first one there, the last one to leave. And what my kids have spoken to me, my youngest daughter, she was the first one to bring it to me. Mama, I think you need to seek help because you got daddy issues because of how you treat men.
Okay.
And I was like, what? But I just said what, and then I sat with it. And she was the very first person that ever told me, Mama, did you ever think about sitting down journaling? I'm like, no, Never thought about
Shout
that.
out to the offspring. Yes.
I said, no, never thought about that. So what I did was I listened to her. I got up because I get up early in the morning anyway. I got up, total quiet, got me a notepad and pen, and I just started writing. And as I was writing, again, tears just flowing because I was like, "Oh my God, my child is right." That's because I divorced their father. So with that being said, I got into another relationship that didn't work. So they saw me and how I was such a strong woman, and I did not I wasn't allowed. I had a hard heart. I wasn't allowing men to come in, and I wasn't being. Oh, I wasn't allowing it. And they saw this, and then they also saw me with the people pleasing with people, family, friends, whoever, and they feel like they're not showing the same amount of love that you show. Mama, you go over and beyond for people, but they're not showing you the exact same love. They're not showing up for you how you showing up for them. And so then that made them be like, we ain't gonna be like mamas. Because my youngest daughter told me, I just kept saying, well, if she like it, I love it, she but that ain't gonna be me. So then for them to see me be a people pleaser, and then how I dealt with men in my life, they were like, no, this is not. And then, but now that they're adults, they felt comfortable enough coming to me and say, hey, these are some areas, Mom, I think you really need to go seek guidance. I think you need to go seek help in, because this is what it has done for us, seeing this. Because we love you as our mother, and it hurts us to see people use you. So with that, they don't want to be used. Wow. So then that makes them like, well, they're gonna go. So what happens is, with me having that incident at 12 years old, finding out the man that raised me, who name I hold, was not my dad, that jacked me up. But I never dealt with it, because what do we do in a Black household? We don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. Yep. We sweep everything up under the rug, and then you have all this dysfunction going on, but you want to act like everything is peaches and cream and roses and all that good stuff, but it's not. So what I've learned is, with me, even though me and their dad did not make it, I knew I never wanted my daughters to feel that abandonment from a dad. I never wanted my daughters to feel like they're not loved by their father. So hence the relationship that I have with their dad, everybody is like, y'all sure y'all divorced? Yeah, because I told him the relationship with you and your daughters will not be broken when it comes to me, because what I did, the positive side of it, was I made sure that they had that line of communication, that they were young, but like, don't call your dad just for money. Pick up that phone, call your dad and check on him. Make sure he good. Like this past Saturday, we just celebrated his 60th birthday, and he is so in heaven because this is the very first birthday party that he's had, and his daughters threw it for him. And I was a part of it. Like, we still do family vacations. That's why for my business, Exposure, Expansion, Experiences, we're creating the family lifestyle that I've always wanted for myself. But I'm making sure my kids, even though they're grown, but my grandkids have that.
That's so, girl, you just, that was so full of wisdom. Like you just said, everybody just take a deep, I've been taking deep breaths and she's been talking. That was so good. I love the ownership and grace to you, because you're talking about something that is vulnerable. And I absolutely believe that there are plenty of children who have found out, whether they found out as children or they have found out as adults, that the person or the man that they have known as their father their whole life is not their actual father. And so, you deal with a rejection, you deal with abandonment. That brings in issues with your mama for not being honest. Well, did the
That
man who
trust,
raised,
trust
he
issue.
knew I wasn't his daughter. So
Right.
then who my real daddy is? Why he didn't fight for me? There's so many things that go on inside of that narrative, and it sounds like what you ended up doing was putting up a wall. You put up
Yep.
a wall for the men, like, I don't deal with y'all.
That
Period.
part.
But the desire, right? the desire to be accepted because you're dealing with rejection rolled over into people pleasing, because you want to have a healthy the semblance of a healthy relationship with certain people. So you yield to, a lot of things. So I heard
Mhm.
you say that, essentially, if I could summarize it, I heard you say that your children looked at you and they saw your humanity. I heard you say that you made sure that your children realized their daddy was a human, and that you're not going to treat him like he is only a resource. It is about relationship, not a resource. I mean, end of the day, God is the resource, baby.
Hello.
It ain't necessarily your natural daddy who is your resource, because people got natural daddies who have not showed up. So,
Amen.
period. You made sure that they treated their father like a human, and y'all have had a beautiful journey together of growing and celebrating one another in your individual journeys. That is amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. And thank you for how you even kind of walked us through that. I love the fact
Well,
that your daughters introduced the journaling to you. I need to meet my cousins.
yes.
That's so.
Yes.
How did you? Oh my gosh! Like, as a mama, where you realized that you received wisdom from your kids and they were right. How did you feel realizing that the children that you raised were able to help you?
Well, I to be honest with you, I am over the moon excited for my kids and how they are turning out as adults. Because the one thing as a mother, you put things into them growing up, and you don't quite know if they're paying attention. Because for me, I wanted my kids to have the reality of life, not the fairy tale. So I've
Mm,
always been the one that as they say, Mama, you give it to us with no chaser, no sugar, none of
straight
that.
no
You just give it
chaser.
just straight, just straight. I'm like, well, because life is like that, and I want you guys to be prepared for real life, not have this fantasy made up situation in your head that, oh, is this, is that, because that's how I was. So when I got out in the real world, my God, I was not ready. And I said to myself, oh my God, if I ever have kids, I will never, ever have my kids unprepared for real life. Because life is life and for real, for real. But God is guiding. But you need to be
Oh!
prepared, period. So that's kind of like, that has always been my stance as a parent, because some of the things I did, my mom did not agree with. She was like, well, why did you do this, or why did you say that? I'm like, because you never said or did that with me, and I was not prepared. I would go home with my feelings on my sleeve because I was unprepared for the real world, because I was living in a fantasy world. And I did not want that for my girls. So to have them reverse that now that they're adults, to me, I'm over there. Yes. Matter of fact, me and their dad have a saying, because like when we talk, we're talking through some things, because let me tell you what a healthy co-parenting relationship looks like. We have roundtable discussions. If there's some issues going on within our unit, and when I say our unit, it's me, him, both of our girls, and now we add the 2 grandkids to the situation, the 6 of us, we having a roundtable discussion.
Okay.
And so, and then with him, his thing is to me, okay, you're a mom. I understand. You feel the way you feel. I would think something was wrong with you if you didn't feel that way. But before you go, call me. Let's talk about it. So we're each other's sounding board. Like if we really have something that's truly bothering us about whatever is going on within our unit, we'll talk, and then we'll set aside a meeting where we can all sit down and just talk it out.
That's good.
And we just and come to either we're gonna come to agreement, or we're gonna come to, okay, we're gonna agree or not to agree, but we're not gonna let this mess with the unit that we have created for us as a family.
That's good. That's good.
And it's possible.
If you do the work.
Yeah, if you do the work. And I was willing to do the necessary work where that was concerned, because again, I did not want my daughters to feel what I felt. Period. So with that made it easier, even though, because I was 19 when we got married. So I was young.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when you actually grow up and for real get mature, we kind of for real, we grew up and grew apart, but that never stopped the dynamics of our family. Because like I told him, just because you and I didn't make it, that don't have nothing to do with these kids and y'all.
That's powerful.
Yeah,
that's powerful. Like, y'all catch what she just said though. Let's stick with that. Your divorce should not impact the dynamics of how your family functions. You can still function well without sharing space. You're going to have to do some wellness work to get over all the reasons for why your marriage did not last and why y'all chose to go in different directions. That's your own personal wellness work. But there should not be division in the dynamics of how your family is functioning. Sis, you just laid that thing out real clear and real good. You got 2 adult, responsible people who made a decision together to maintain a therapeutic environment for their children. And these are the kids who now coach their mama in her wellness work. Did you journal today? I think you need to go sit with that.
And that's real. That's real. Not only did you journal today, did you spend time with God? Did you spend your time with God this morning? Or did you oversleep and was you rushing to get out the house? Because you're a little off right now. I'm gonna need you to come get off this phone and go find somewhere to go have a little talk with Jesus. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
We need to do a 3-way call with her. That's so good. That's real. And you know what though? I love that for our generation. Like, I'm a millennial, y'all. I'm an 85 baby, right? Usher for halftime was everything. Okay. I am a millennial. And I believe that being born as a millennial, God has positioned us very strategically between 2 generations. We are gap bridgers. We have the maturity and the reverence to have conversations with the generation that has come before us that can empower them while still respecting them. But we also translate to the generation coming behind us so that they understand what the baby boomers have, packaged. The generation before us. We are the ones who can translate. Because these the ones coming behind me, they ain't got it. They don't know what's going on.
They don't. Bless their souls.
Y'all, we have very big responsibility. So I love everything that you have shared. I love everything you have said. I can't wait to meet the family, y'all. I'm going to Texas. Okay.
Well, come on.
Meet the family, right?
Well, you might just get a chance to meet my oldest one when we're in Dallas.
Yay. Hey, that's good. I'm so excited. I have one more question. I have one more question, y'all. We just about to wrap up, but I want to sit with this not too long, but I want to ask you a question that I love to ask inside of the community, because she GFT and she GTG, y'all. So she a part of the tribe. So after having gone through this work, growing through grief, doing this wellness work, we always say, I'm building what helped me heal, right? And I want to ask you, what are you building for somebody else with what you know about your story so far?
What I'm building right now is a community for women who are going through a journey to their freedom, that were bruised, but letting them know they're not broken.
Mm.
That God created us on purpose, for a purpose. And everything that you have gone through in your life was for your purpose.
Mm.
Grab hold to it and identify why. Like I said, I'm always get to the root cause. Get to the root cause. So for me, I'm starting a community for women. This is for women, especially the moms, because I can speak to the moms on your identity, learning that you were bruised, but you're not broken. God created you for a reason, and He will, Romans 8:28, your whole entire life, good, bad, or indifferent. So I am building what helped me heal. I'm going to take the women through the journey, and it's going to be a safe space for you to be able to feel free to talk about your grief. And let's dig deep into that thing so we can identify the root cause and then forward the journey to your healing process, so then you can also help someone build from what healed you. Thank you so much for this, Kenitra.
Thank you, sis. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of us. I'm so proud of us. Y'all connect with Kayla though. Connect with Kayla. If you resonate with what she said, I want to encourage you to follow her and connect with her. If you also own the bandwagon for the exposure, the expansion, and the experience, babe, I'm trying to tell you, she got something for you. All right. So don't hesitate to consider and ponder the changes that you want to make for your family. Kayla, you said so much about family. I feel like family is something that's a really big part of your brand.
It
Family,
is.
very big part of your brand, and you being able to talk about your family experience growing up and then what you were able to create with your family. That's such a powerful story, and I appreciate you sharing it here. So y'all drop some love for Kayla in the comments. Make sure that you connect with her. Look, let me tell y'all something. The Wellness Work Summit is coming on March the 30th. If you are in Georgia, come meet us in Augusta, Georgia. Okay. If you can't get to Augusta, I want to tell y'all that it's a whole YouTube channel. There's no reason for you not to be in this conversation. Clearly, it's going to be available, right? But you still need to RSVP. So I'm telling you right now, go to gracefordthis.net so you can RSVP for this summit. Let me tell you something about our summits, okay? One of the things that is true about what we are doing when it comes to growing through grief and when we're doing these wellness work summits is that I'm on a mission. Like, it's just not for kicks and giggles. It's not because, oh, I've seen other people do it and I felt like it got views. No, there are conversations that we need to have that are going to help us be well and healthy as human beings. You guys know that I do these broadcasts inside of my husband's I call it his music room, but I call it the Grace and Grit room now, because sitting in this space, I realized that he did a certain level of work on a daily basis to show up for himself, for his family, and for his loved ones. And so I sit in the atmosphere of what my husband's grit produced so that I could walk in this grace, right? And so what is going on inside of this growing through grief movement, y'all? I'm cheering for the sisters. I'm cheering for the brothers. Why? Because we got to have conversations that are honest about where we are in our wellness journey. We have to be intentional about getting in places where there are resources for us to own our wellness journey. And then lastly, we want to make sure that we give you the equipment necessary so you can commit to your own personal wellness regimen. That's what's going on. This is just not an event. We are on a mission. I'm going to run them three things back for you. I'm going to run it back. One is we got to have a conversation about wellness. Two, you need access to wellness resources. Three, you need to commit to your own personal wellness regimen. Okay, if you call that, drop it in the comments, period, point blank. All right. So I want to encourage y'all one more time. I want to say shout out to my sister Kayla for joining me on the stage. I'm going to drop this graphic one more time, y'all. Just so yeah, it's in the background, but I want to bring it to the forefront. Men and women have got to have the conversation together. And I love that Kayla gave you that example in this story today. She and her daughter's father worked together. They did the grace and the grit. She had to do her own personal grace and grit work so that she could raise up her children and now build something that's going to help you with exposure, expansion, and experiences for your family. Okay, so come get in the room with us. RSVP at graceforthis.net. Kayla, do you have any closing words before we end the live?
I'm with you. I got a closing word. 3 things. You need to choose what's best for you. You got to connect with the right environment, and you also have to communicate what and ask for what you need in your wellness work. Period. That's the 3 C's.
That's good. Having said that, hey, life can be hard and your journey can hurt, but commit to heal so your story can help. This is Kenitra Moselle. This is the Kingdom Avenue YouTube page. It's Grace and Grit. We checking out. Hey, subscribe and like this video because the next episode is coming. We love y'all big. Peace out. Hey, we love y'all. We love you big. We singing songs. Y'all do what we do. Because that's how we do it. Oh, we grace for this. We grace for this. RSVP, grace for this. Drop it in the comments. We grace for this. Are you coming? Are you going to get the conversation coming? Are you going to get the conversation coming? We'll see y'all there, March the 30th. Graceforthis.net.